back here. Say hello to all the people watching. Yay. And yeah, just so you know, I am getting more and more feedback that people are watching these streams, either while we are talking together or later on. And it's very heart moving, like how people talk about this. They are saying things like, I'm remembering parts of myself I didn't know I lost when I listened to these streams. And it's both scary and such a relief. So all of your voices are lending towards that. If I was just on here or Vinny was just on here, it would just be another talking head speaking to a camera, right? But what we do here as a group together is really making a difference for people who have given up on being social, who have given up on village and community. And I just want you all to know that your contribution really is making a difference. And it's building a body of work to show what BridgeMakers is. So, yay. That's how we get to start today. My goal today is to be a little bit more of a fly on the wall and let Vinia hold this space. I'm going to be more like participant. And I also might need to leave a little early. I have a deadline at midnight tonight. I got to get on. And yeah, that's about it as far as the prequel. So I will hand Vinia the magic wand that I can't get out because my left controller is broken. So I'm going to pretend to hand you the magic wand. There you go.
Okay. I don't know how to pull out said magic wand.
Oh,
Teacups, how do you do that?
Pretend. Do you have VRChat Plus?
No.
I have VRChat.
Wait, whoa, there's a new items thing here.
I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Open up the
other
side.
Little emote
Reference
wheel
cube.
thing.
What is that? Oh. I see.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
What?
I don't know what
It's
I'm
a
doing.
pretend magic
What
wand.
just happened? Why are there companion cubes?
Wait, I don't know how to take these away.
Well, you just
there
click
should
on
be
them on
there we go.
the item.
I've retracted
thing,
my
yeah.
cube.
There we go.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
Someone just gave me a wand.
Hey, I didn't know you could hand those over. That's really interesting. Okay. Go for it, Vinia. Do you know the order or do you need coaching? It's okay if you need coaching.
I look forward to your feedback regardless.
Oh, you cut out there. I just heard I look forward to feedback.
Uh-oh. Oh, is it doing that thing again? I'll move my mic closer and see if that helps.
Okay.
So, hello everyone. Welcome. So,
Hi.
my name is Vania. I'm going to be running this for the day. All of you know me. Well, not all of you know me. We're gonna go through with some
Okay.
There's the cutout.
Well, yeah.
This one's lasting a long time.
The government got him.
Sorry, Vinia. It sounds like your voice is not working today. I'll get
my voice.
Yeah,
What happened to
cut
my
out
voice?
for like easily 30 seconds there.
Oh, I cut out.
Seriously?
too.
Oh
Actually, I
no.
think that my internet cut out. I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Your internet cut out?
Wait,
Interesting.
were you not hearing us earlier?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Test.
Oh, no.
Everyone was
And you were so
frozen.
excited about
Testing
the
good.
new internet.
Testing
Yeah.
confirmed.
We can.
Auditory
Nice.
handshake established.
Was established. If there's more handshaking, there is no shaking of the vocal voice hand.
You know-
that's a good point, George.
I love these groups in VR because we are all so accustomed to avalanches of glitches that it just is part of the show. It's just how we roll. I'm guessing you
It's
were
like
looking
a
at me
virus that
so...
we hand off to one another.
Exactly. We're like, let the glitch touch you also and learn patience.
Okay. I
Okay.
switched mic settings. Is this working at all?
So
Yeah,
far,
Okay.
so good. Tell us your life story and we'll tell you if it cuts out.
Summer's Eve in a pizza shop.
Oh, it cut out. We didn't even hear the
Oh,
first
but
part.
Dang it.
But it's back now, yeah.
You know,
All I
that
heard
was
was
even a
Summer's
great
Eve.
joke. Had a solid punchline too.
The glitches are strong tonight. Okay, I'm
What
gonna
is
get us
going on?
started, and maybe your voice
Yeah,
will
please
equalize, and
do.
I'll hand it back to you. Okay, so norms is first part. Second part is gonna be tell us one community woe, and then we're gonna practice reflective listening. So, how do you build community? If you are a leader, you can talk about a very specific woe that is going on in your community to share that pain point. If you are still looking for your own community and haven't stepped into leadership yet, and I say yet with a pregnant pause because I coax a lot of people into community building eventually, but if you're still working on just building your inner circle, then that's where you get to share your pain point. What's hurting right now? This part of our meetup is not about fixing, it is about being witnessed. And so just keep that in mind. And it's about reflective listening, and that's how we witness each other. But before we jump into the community woes, and then after that do our world hop, we're going to do norms. And so norms are the things that happen before community guidelines or rules. And they can also include those, but they are just how we take care of each other in the moment as a circle. You can find the norms to BridgeMakers written out in the description of the community group, and you're welcome to just read a line off of that. Or you can also share a norm that you experience in your other circles or other community experiences that have felt like it made good community for you. We're always looking for how to tweak and adapt and add norms that nurture sustainable community. And so we have a list, but we also are always looking for your list. Who would like to start with a norm? You're back.
I'd like to add a norm.
You'd like to add one?
I think one that I always have to, because it's kind of related to my pain point that I'll add later in the event, but patience. Patience is very, very important for a norm of community sharing and conversing with each other.
Okay. Patience. Now, how do you recognize patience is happening, Theo?
Patience is happening when the moment is reflected and understood through our words that have synchronicity, that allow for gentle appreciation of each other and what brings out what we're getting to.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I'm going to have to sit with that. I know that sometimes when we name values like that, it can be a human need that I have instead of a human need I believe everybody needs to do more of. So just check yourself on that one. And it's an interesting one. We can always be more patient. And the counter to that is when we break patience open, when is it being nice to be patient versus kind to be patient? Sometimes patient can steamroll our other feelings. So thank you. And I'm also going to
want to appreciate great patience for the group. Is my mic working?
Hey, that's better.
Yeah.
Ah, patience.
Hey.
Solid.
Patience.
All
You
right, let's
started.
hope it holds out.
Okay. So far, so good. Would you like to name a norm? We'll check your mic more. What's a norm for this group?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that up. I don't know if any have been done further, but my ever so favorite is putting yourself on orange. When I
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. So
Seeing
your
as it-
mic cut out again. Sorry. But we heard the put yourself on orange, so that's a good one. If you do have somebody who would like to join the group, you can go ahead and meet them at the entrance and let them know what's going on as far away from the group as you can. But yeah, keeping yourself on orange helps us stay present. Oh, now I'm echoing. Oh, now I'm not. Okay. So Venia had one of our norms. Thank you, Venia. Oh, now I'm echoing again.
Dang it. All right, hold on.
Sorry. Okay, who else would like to name a norm in our glitchy evening here?
Using emotes instead of speaking over another person.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
emotes
like
are
that
a
a
way
lot.
are there a way we give feedback to each other gently. Yeah, lovely. That's a norm that was never written down but has become more and more true for BridgeMakers. That's how things develop. What else?
Kindness is always it can happen in so many ways, like the way I've noticed people checking in with each other or sharing things on the Discord, which is really nice to see. So it happens on there, and it also happens here with people um like like I was greeted when I came in here. That felt really, really nice. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, lovely. Kindness is so important. And that includes being welcoming, and it can also include saying tough things that help us grow. So it's both. Yeah. What else? Yeah. Jay. Let's go with Jay.
Yes. I think one of the things that I value most is feedback, and I think you did at one point tell me that you know conflict resilience is something we would try to practice, and I'm actually going through that with somebody in another group that's she's helping me through a this difficult emotions towards another member of that group. So yes, just just the back and forth kind of sitting becoming at ease with differences. So I guess diversity of opinion. I does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard a couple things there. I heard just that compassion of working through conflict, and then also getting multiple perspectives as part of conflict resiliency. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes that means being challenged. I will, especially in XR, it can be really easy to spin into conspiracy theory or just beliefs that something negative is happening at me. And it can be really grounding to get other people's perspectives and realize that in VR, we have a lot of missing information with each other when we don't have body language because somebody's in a desktop or a mobile phone, when we are texting instead of talking. Those are all cues that are missing from our normal day-to-day interactions for most of us. And so that can be kind of like when we look up at the sky and we see stars, there's all this missing empty space there. And we're kind of filling in the blanks with each other, especially in VR. And we're making stories up about how things are all connected. But sometimes those aren't always true. So conflict resiliency is about challenging my need to be right and finding a way for us to be true to each other, true to ourselves, true to the community around us. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Jane. Who else? I think we've got Crescent hasn't gone, and Teacup, have you gone? You have? Okay.
How do you say
Oh,
it?
Cyrilin.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You
Cyrilin.
can just say it's
Cyrillican. Cyril?
cerule. Yeah. Like the
Cyril.
color cerulean.
Okay, gotcha. Cyril. Who wants to go?
I'm gonna have to go mute temporarily. Dinner's calling.
Oh,
Be
okay.
right back. Sorry.
Gotcha. Thank you for letting us know.
My bad. But I was gonna say
Oh,
for
I
my
love
answer,
that.
RSVPs and all of that.
Thank you. Yes, RSVPs really, really help BridgeMakers keep growing. The littlest way that you can make a bridge with BridgeMakers is to RSVP. That helps us
Yeah.
understand what's valuable and what is working for you and how motivated you are to contribute and not just receive. So, yeah, thank you very much.
We'll be right back, hopefully soon. Sorry.
Okay, no, take care of your body. Cyril, what about you? What's a norm you'd like to name?
Guess I can try this. I guess maybe like giving people the benefit of the doubt, social situations and stuff. Obviously in like a lot of environments like VR chat and stuff like this, some people socially different social cues or social sometimes things might be good or
You're breaking up again, Cyril.
whatever.
I'm sorry. I heard
least-
social cues.
At least I'm not the only one cutting out.
You're not. You are in great company. There you go. Vinny is like, I hear it. Not with myself, but I hear it. Okay. I was distracted with the cutting out piece and had a hard time listening to that. Did anybody else catch what Cyril was saying?
Very much kind of felt similar to similar aspect of what I was talking about, where it's like you have to bring mindfulness, patience, and kindness to other people's values, and allowing yourself to have them be heard, so that there's a conversation that spurs into good compassion.
Did that feel like what you were saying, Sarah?
Yeah, I guess somewhat.
Okay.
I more so try to like approach it of the way of like always trying to give people the most assuming the best of their intent or whatever.
Okay.
Because they might not always understand that they're making a mistake or something socially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if that makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I hear in that is almost assuming positive intent. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody here know the norms that weren't named that are important for us to name for BridgeMakers? We got some of them.
Confidentiality.
Yeah, that's an interesting title. I guess the reflection of it is that we are streaming and recording, and so technically nothing is confidential here. But we can respect how people share stories and not repeat those stories if they're not meant to be repeated, if they haven't been asked to be told. So that's a way to respect the space and the stage that we're on. Not do harm later. Yeah. What else? Was that mentioned? Was what mentioned? I didn't.
Vinia said generosity.
Oh, that's not a BridgeMakers norm, but I appreciate that could be interesting. I love how much it's a springtime of other norms tonight. So another norm is about substance use. Does anybody know?
No, I see it as a norm on the group.
Yeah?
Can confirm. Number 3.
Yeah.
Cultivate generosity.
Did it get written different? Oh, that's interesting. That's on our list, but I hadn't written it, and I can't open it because my controller's broken. Fantastic. Way to name one that I don't remember or it got rewritten. Thank you. Yeah, that's part of the culture. Yeah. It's not something that normally gets named, but I like that it got revived. We also have one around substance use. Does anybody know what that one's about?
Be vague, I imagine. I'm just guessing.
Did you say be what?
Vague, but I'm just guessing.
Be vague?
Yeah, like don't mention specific substances, you know?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's
am I wrong?
It's an interesting way to put it. So basically, BridgeMakers is a safe for work environment, which means we're asking you to practice coming as sober, as oriented as possible. And that means remembering, especially in virtual reality, come with your full self, conscious and capable of engaging fully. Especially in virtual reality, if you think about this headset as, or this encounter as its own kind of mind-altering substance, adding substance use to that can create all kinds of harmful effects, even if it's subtle. So please come sober when you're going to participate with us. What's another one? Oh, say hello, goodbye. Who knows that one? You're like, what? Who's here?
I thought
It's a norm.
Yeah, I thought you were announcing the presence of somebody. But,
no.
but yeah, that's a very good one, which has actually been really profound for me beyond BridgeMakers. So it's a norm I really appreciate, and it's always nice to state that too. So it gives us all the chance to be like, hi, and greet, and also goodbye, gotta go, see ya, and that adds to the culture in a very positive way.
Definitely.
I agree,
yeah. I've had some comments from people, especially those who are watching the stream, that really find difficulty with that one because it feels like imposing on the group process to say goodbye. And I think that in our minds, we believe that I am not imposing if I just vanish quietly. But the reality is even if people don't consciously notice you left, their bodies are going to feel your absence. And there's a grief and there's an unnamed closing there that isn't really closed. So say hello, say goodbye is about recognizing that even if I'm not physically embodied here, I am virtually embodied. And when I disappear, that's going to be felt. And the only way to really bridge that loss for people is to acknowledge that I'm conscious, I'm taking me away from you before we're really done. And that's what that mostly applies to. You trying again?
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mute on this side. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah.
So far, no cutting out. So
all
that's
right.
a good sign.
I will assume it's fine for now. Continue.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the other part about saying goodbye is try to be vulnerable when you're going to leave, even if that's scary. Try to let people know why you're really leaving. These events have an opening and closing time. So when you leave early, it is going to kind of flag for us, like what happened, what's more valuable for you. Sometimes it's physical reality stuff like food or parents or whatever else, and that happens. But when possible, try to come and be on time and say goodbye at the end. Yeah, but if you have to leave early, say goodbye before that. Okay, I think that's all of them. Trying to remember if there's any more. Nope, I think that's it. Okay, let's jump into the woes of community building. Tell us your woes. What is hurting about building community right now? What's the most uncomfortable spot where your body freezes up, where you want to think about anything else? What just feels stuck?
None of it feels intuitive.
That's interesting. Say more about that.
There's no like guidebook on like how to build a community, or at least one that I've encountered, or how to act. Culture is something that you kind of have to experience and feel. It feels more like a relationship that you kind of learn over time, and that could be confusing, I guess.
Yeah, community is complicated. It's an easy word to say, but it's a complicated experience. Yeah, I hear you on that. What if building community doesn't feel intuitive? I'm curious, what does feel intuitive?
I suppose not being a part of community. Like I'm kind of a loner, so being like in a community can feel alien, I guess.
Benia, do you mind muting your microphone? We're hearing typing and noises.
Now it's too sensitive. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Good to know. Yes.
It's not breaking up when we're hearing typing, so I guess that was a positive.
Like,
yeah, go ahead, Tika.
Like, it's kind of like I'm a little bit unsocialized, so I feel like I notice normal people have a hard time sometimes with these dynamics. It's especially hard for like me. And a lot of people I feel like they're too polite to really say things that they might want to imply. Like, it's a lot easier for someone to like imply that they want you to shut up than to be like, hey, could you be quiet? And I think that could lead to miscommunications, and that's kind of like an example of what I mean. Is that like,
So what I'm hearing there is the nonverbals are hard to read versus the direct things. Nonverbals are tricky for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Subtext can be kind of hard.
That's tough. A lot of times we learn the subtext by things going really wrong, and then we kind of try to piece it together and be like, well, maybe it's because I scratched my nose 3 times. Was that it? You know, like it can feel very, very confusing. And and it's easy to go into a place of shame around that. Not even guilt of like, maybe I scratched my nose too many times, but maybe I have the wrong kind of nose. It can feel very damning. Yeah. Thank you, Teacup. That's a real one. Who else would like to share a pain point? And I'm going to ask the rest of you to reflect that one back. One of you will raise your hand, hopefully, and try to reflect the next pain point back to them. So listen carefully.
My pain point is a recent realization that I had about how I care about or have empathy, hold empathy towards a lot of people I know, and how a lot of situations or stories I run into with people, family, friends, and so forth, they're going through some challenges in their life, and I care about them. And I realize sometimes I'm caring too much or caring in a way that's not helpful for anybody. And I'm starting to realize that, and it can be hard to try and balance or find the boundary there because I don't want to stop caring, but I don't want to care or hold empathy in a way that's not helpful because then I just suffer more for nobody's sake, even if it feels that way.
Wow, that's interesting. Who wants to try repeating that back to George?
Do you feel like it's hard to know how to care about things or care about things in a way that's productive and not destructive? Because I relate to that a lot, if that's what you're saying.
Not self-destructive is what I heard.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I think about the word matter. Like, what does it matter, right? And matter can mean like physical substance, and it can also mean meaning. What does it mean to me? Knowing what matters, what to build meaning through, and what to let go. When am I carrying people's emotions for them and they're disassociated from them? And might even get angry with me if I say, wow, you seem sad. Or I feel sadness hearing your story. And they'd be like, what? You don't have to be sad. You should be celebrating or whatever. So it can even get us in trouble to sometimes empathize when people are not feeling their feelings. It's a tough one. A lot of emotional labor. Yeah, Jay, you ready to go?
Well, is it just one reflective response per person, or can I reflect as well?
You know, we're small enough today that I think you can offer yours also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, just quickly, so is it a case where, you fear that you may, your, emotional involvement with their, struggles may, take away their duty to improve themselves or to solve the problems that they are capable of solving? Is that possibly, is that, does, could that be a part of it?
I've experienced that exact same thing happening. So trying to refine that over time without too much distance, without just being like, no, I don't want to talk to you ever again. That's a challenge in and of itself. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
Sure.
What else is here? What other pain points are present? Cyril or Theo or Jay? Go ahead.
Well, just quickly, this is actually something that is coming to a solution. But I did, I was really, for several months actually had been aggravated at this one person, who strikes me as very bluff. He seems to be the kind of person who doesn't really care about his words' impact on other people. He seems kind of self-absorbed, and I am talking that's my perception, and I am talking to another another person about this who's been very, very patient with me, very willing to listen, and she, I said, I want to see if I could reconcile this. I don't want to have to block them only when I'm sure that this person says I don't care about how if this person tells me that he doesn't care about his his words impact on me only at that point where I say, okay, I tried to work this out with this person, it just fell through. Then I can just say, okay, this is just, bad match at best. But I will say the person I've been talking to has been very, very willing to listen, very patient with me.
Jay,
It is very refreshing.
Your audio is getting really spotty. It's pretty hard to hear you. I'm so sorry. I'm hearing you talk about a situation and it's starting to fade out quite a bit.
I turned the fan away. Is that better?
Oh, that's a little better. It's stronger. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Apparently my microphone doesn't work unless it's right up to my mouth. Okay. It's really strange, but basically, yes, I am coming to a solution where I'm learning to forgive this person by talking it out with, another person, even though I know in some cases it might sound like gossip, but I trust this person. I think we trust one another that we know we want to solve this. We want to at least lay this grudge to rest. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Were you able to hear any of that?
So I'm hearing you talk about a healing point rather than a pain point, that you're actually in a healing process.
Yes.
Yeah. That's lovely.
There was a slight concern with whether this healing or this process could turn into gossip. Like I heard you use that word, so that could be a small pain point of like caution with how you do this, but it does sound like you're going through this with a lot of care and consideration for everybody, including yourself.
Thank you, George. And I'm reading Venia's statement. I can relate heavily on that with my own issues, as I've had a big life change that has. I'm going to finish Venia's statement, even though she hasn't written. Impacted. I was going to say imploded. Impacted a lot of other people's emotions. Yeah. And it's a public thing. So I've had to be careful about how I go about ownership. Yeah. How do we tell a story enough to get the healing we need, but not so much that it spins into a whole other kind of wounding, a whole other kind of drama? Yeah, thank you, Venia. Yeah, who else has a pain point?
Oh, I guess I could try and go.
Sure.
I lowered the threshold for my mic, so just let me know if anything's coming
Hey,
through.
that's so much clearer so far. Well done.
Yeah, that might have been the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully this will fit. Where something I've been kind of like thinking about a lot is whenever I run my events, usually there's like a core group of like regular people that attend my events. And sometimes I find myself getting like so wrapped up interacting with the regulars that I'm very comfortable with that I feel like I might be not interacting with newer people or people I don't interact with as much.
Yeah.
And, I kind of feel like obviously my job as the host is to make sure that, everyone's having fun. And if they're newer people, especially, make sure that they are getting social interaction and being integrated into the group and what's going on a lot. And I've been trying to keep that in my mind and trying to improve on that in the last couple of weeks or whatever.
Oh, that's a great one, Cyril. Thank you. Yeah. Who wants to reflect that back?
It's a lot of responsibility being in those spaces, and then also so many people with so many bright and unique experiences, and wanting to be able to have the endurance and stamina to take charge and all of that, and being there for everyone's presence that you hold for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something you didn't say, but I imagine that some of what's going on here is also a scaling issue. You're having a popular experience with an event, etc., but as more and more people come, you're less able to reach everybody sometimes.
Not quite. Fortunately, my events tend to be on the smaller side, usually less than 10 people.
Okay.
But
We did
usually,
this-
you know, 6 or 7 of those people are regulars, and then there's like 1 or 2 newer people. And then, you know, especially since they don't know people there as well, they might kind of just be
Yeah.
a little bit off by themselves, and it's very easy to forget about them.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to be more conscientious about that, of making sure that, you know, no one's being left out kind of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real at every level. So the scaling isn't an issue yet, but it's still like the relationships are growing deeper. There used to be a story that we held for a long time as human beings that trees were predatory and they defended their spots and they would kill other trees and keep them from getting light and whatever. And then people started asking different questions about trees. And lo and behold, they found that trees actually nurture each other. The ones that have the smallest roots will actually have, through the fungi network, will have all kinds of resources brought to them so they can grow. And so when we asked ourselves, can trees be kind? Are they kind? Then we found these kind of family organizational systems in tree networks. And so what I hear you're trying to learn is, how do I be the leader that is staying conscious of everybody present? And then also, how do I infect that welcoming vibe to everybody else who's present, who's digging their roots in deeper and not necessarily paying attention to those who have the smaller roots, who don't have the deeper access?
How do you know if you're a big tree, a small tree, or the fungi?
It's a good question. I would almost measure it as, when you walk into a space, have you asked yourself, how many people here should recognize me? Like, I've interacted with them before. And we're both back here, so I wasn't so terrible last time that they wouldn't come back if I was going to be here, and vice versa, right? So how many people recognize me and might wave at me? And did they wave at me? Did they say hello? Did they greet me? Sometimes if I've been gone for a long time, people might not notice that I'm there. It doesn't mean they don't have affection, but I might be in a different avatar, I might be in a different outfit, whatever, and that might be harder for them to connect to when they're feeling so deeply connected to people they see all the time. So what is my expectation of being greeted? Am I greeted? And if I don't recognize people, then I get to really measure what the culture is, because there's no predestined investment in coming to greet me. I don't matter to these people when I walk into a space. Like before our hop today, our meeting today, I was looking at some different worlds on where we could meet. I usually try to find a new space for us to meet every time. And I went into a popular world that has a pool with very realistic water that splashes and takes up all the sound and whatever. And I was trying to see, could I make us all sit underwater and have our circle? So I kept trying to get under the water. And there were a couple of people floating in this pool, and one of them waved at me, but I was like, oh, they're just thrashing their arms around because they're drowning like everybody else. And it was really interesting to watch that thought in my mind of going, I'm in a public instance. Nobody's going to care that I'm here or want to interact with me. And I'm so used to that I was blocking out their body language as welcoming. And so sometimes we have to ask ourselves, how much am I expecting to be rejected or ignored? Yeah, that's a...
Why did you choose this world?
Why did I choose it? I often like nature scenes. That pool did not have any good space for a circle that had any kind of nature. When we start our Friday evening worlds out, I like to have a space we can feel like we're touching grass a little bit and touching the grass of our connection at least. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you. Okay, who hasn't shared a whoa, community whoa yet? I think Theo, have you gone?
It's just me and Venia, yeah.
Okay. And also mine is going to be people don't realize when I haven't shared. No, I'm kidding. Okay, go ahead. That was, yeah. Oh, who wants to go?
Theo or I? Okay. Let's try me. My woe is that mics are a thing. No. I had something really big happen to me this week. That's been 4 months of really arduous, difficult progress. And it was not good. So trying to heal from and trying to manage my emotional capacities over the course of the past 4 months has been extremely difficult. And I wanted nothing more as a human than to call people out for the hurt that they caused. But also, I knew that that wouldn't really be productive. So, contending with my emotional self so that I could really feel like things were okay became really difficult once things became public. And it felt like I wasn't able to balance how I told people what happened, how I went about saying what was my fault, and how I went about saving face for other people who were involved without pressuring the reality that they were also at fault. It felt really difficult for me to navigate that line, and it felt like I basically had to just say, no, it was all me. And they kind of got off scot-free. And I didn't know how to navigate that. I didn't know what to do with it. And I kind of just have to make do with the idea that they are not really going to be publicly, like, informed in any way. Like, they're not going to pull any form of responsibility whatsoever. And I just have to agree that it's not my puddle. And I found that kind of dealing with that conflict and how I feel about it all has had to allow me to just make peace with a lack of resolution. And that's been very, very difficult for emotional me to handle, even though logical me knows that's what needs to happen.
I have a reflective question to ask.
Let's try, before we ask questions, actually doing the reflection itself. And then we can do the questions, okay? That was a really big thing Benny just shared. Who wants to try reflecting that back?
How do you reckon with the consequences of whatever happened, or come to peace with it? Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's an interesting reflective question, technically. Let's still try to just offer reflection, though. Jay, did you raise your hand?
Yes. So if I understand, you had a conflict with somebody, and you were trying to... Well, can you hear me okay?
It's ish, but yeah, go ahead. Thanks for asking.
Okay. So you were having a conflict with somebody, and you were trying to work it out peacefully. However, somebody decided to, broadcast it, just air it out in public, and that forced you to, in order to try to remain respectful to everybody involved, essentially apologize publicly, and then the other people who are involved in the conflict, they chose to just say, yeah, we agree, we know you were at fault, and then they did not apologize or show any accountability, and now you're trying to come to terms with the fact that you're the only one pulling your weight. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yes, I think there was some lacking information I hadn't informed you where it's actually the reverse, but I don't blame you for that because it wasn't really a part of what I had said. But I had to make an announcement to the public, and that announcement had to basically say it was all my fault. So there was absolutely zero culpability on the other people's part. And it was just kind of, I had to make peace with that. So it was reversed, but accurate nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's like that is so infuriating.
Yeah. I mean, just for face saving, like, I couldn't drag anyone else under the mud about this except for myself. And I felt like that was unfair, but it's what I had to do anyway. And it protected them from something they did that was kind of shitty, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I just let them off.
Mm-hmm.
And my emotional brain is really, really struggling with my professional brain because my professional brain is like, no, this is the right move. And my emotional brain is extremely unhappy about it.
Yeah. That's really well put.
Yeah.
George, were you going to say something?
But yeah, you're right. Where else?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. What were you going to say, George?
It's like you weren't just thrown under the bus. You had to dive under the bus and
That's interesting.
all alone.
Wow.
So nobody else had to dive under the bus, even if others did play a part in the process. Yeah. And that feeling unfair sounds like a really painful part of the high road that you got to walk.
Yeah. That's a really great way of putting it.
Oof.
Diving under the bus.
Under the school bus, so to speak.
You talked about a bit about pond from your analogy. I thought it was a kind of interesting aspect of observing your experience, right? And my question is where, because on one hand I can see it's a moment of care to carry out into that experience, but one is also the mindfulness to know when that pond should be explored, those feelings should be explored, because ultimately it's holding on to all that as well, and it has to have a closing rather than repressing into it all.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
I'll internalize that for a while. Wow.
Actually, that's kind of wow,
yeah. Wow. Well, what about you, Theo? What's your pain point?
Yeah. My it's always so fun, this space. My pain point has been a lot of patience, a lot of listening, a lot of recognizing that those emotions, to know that I'm still hurt even while I hold the patience for others. Like, my mother has been kind of going a bit crazy and has been trying to get rid of these roaches around the house. So she's been waking me up around 2 to 3 a.m. to get me up to start going through the entire house trying to get rid of the one that she spotted late in the night.
Whoa.
And just having some conversations with her, some very, very hurtful conversations that I've experienced time and time again, and always having to reflect knowing that I can't say anything more to her because it's like a double-edged sword, it seems, where we talk, but then my words aren't ever going to reach her. And I realize that a lot of the time lately with my time and living with her. And I am trying in some ways to heal these experiences, but I'm having so many times and troubles where healing her is not healing me, and I'm hurting as the healing goes on, trying to help her, but reminding myself again that it's not my space. It's not where I should be. And so I've been doing and reflecting and having patience of that. If something is there, it's not real. It's not who she is or how I am. Yeah, but I am also having trouble to recognize how do I express out to this pain, because even if it's not real, that it still holds onto us when we experience or observe. And how do you have a space to ground yourself for others that are for you, who can listen to you? Because I've been really struggling with that as well.
Wow. Who would like to reflect Theo back to Theo?
Well, I don't mean to ask questions, but I feel like you're taking on your mom's burden and you don't even really care about the roaches.
Does that
And
fit
you
for
need
you,
time
Theo?
for yourself to heal.
Yeah, I mean, so much of it has been seeing her go crazy about it, recognizing she doesn't have to be this crazy. But then me understanding of that
It's real for
space
her.
that space is only hers and it's not mine. But how do I share something that could help her?
Okay. Do you feel like what Teacup said reflected you back?
Slightly, only because I didn't say the rest of why I sort of burden her pain.
Okay. So I hear kind of is your answer. You got some of that reflected back, some of it you couldn't have reflected back because you didn't share that part.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Wow, I can't believe we've already gone an hour. I only have like 6 people here.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. Okay, well, we're
Your
going
turn.
Oh, what did you say, Teacup?
Your turn.
Oh, and now I forgot that I didn't share one. Okay, what's my pain point? What is my pain point? I mean, it's probably going to be something similar to before. I just have a lot of people who need things from me but don't know how to help me. And sometimes I try to give people things they can do to help over and over again, and I change the size of the thing, and I write it, and I say it. I even will model it, and sometimes it just doesn't land, and people can't hear me. And so I lose my words. I just give up on trying to give people things to do to help me, and that's sad. It's a kind of collapse on the inside to stop trying to ask for what I need. So I'm saying that out loud to remind myself once again to keep trying. It's not entirely true. I have a lot of help, a really amazing help, better and better help over the years. And I need a lot more help. I feel like in the last year, I've gotten, 400% more help than I ever got in the previous 4 years. So that's a massive improvement, right? But the amount of help that I need is like that 400% improvement has only equated to like 3% of the help I need. And so I still have a massive deficit that continues to grow. And that's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to feel myself sinking less quickly, but still sinking. And yeah, who would like to reflect that back to me?
Almost feels more painful, like a slower kind of death.
That's interesting. I would say it's a bit more scary to have that slower sinking because it doesn't feel as painful. So I go numb sometimes and I forget what a deficit I'm in. And then I wake up and realize, no, I'm still sinking. So, yeah. Thank you for that.
I think I'd like to reflect that as well. But in addition, I'd like to kind of offer something that I feel is hidden in those words as well.
Go for it.
So, as I heard what you said, this concept of you feel like you give a fair amount and others need things from you. They need those things that you give.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really too sure how to give back. Mm-hmm. One of the other things that I hear that therefore is that you struggle to feel like your give and take, your level of reciprocity cannot be equal. You have emotional reciprocity issues. Not the word issue, but like your emotional reciprocity.
You got issues.
Is so out of balance that your altruistic reciprocity, what you give and what you take and what the status quo looks like, it almost feels like you feel uncomfortable with those scales being even.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. If I had scales in front of me and I could show you the balances, let's just say the one side of the plate would be in the ground, like near the core of the earth, one of those sides. You're like, wait, where's the other side? Oh, it's like 1,000 miles down. So yeah, there's definitely issues there. And that's, the tough part about it is that's not on any one person. And when people empathically plug into me, they can feel like they're sinking with me. Guess how so many people drowned? They go into try to grab the person who's sinking and then they get drugged down with them. So it's how to share the right amount of what the need is so that it doesn't immobilize people and it allows them to grow with the pain. What did you say, Teacup?
These days it feels like the whole world is sinking, and instead of deciding if you should save people or not, it's more about deciding who you save. And that sort of triage could be difficult and even traumatic.
That's interesting.
I had to deal with that a lot.
Yeah. And what does saving mean, right? As you know, I don't have a fix-it culture that I try to build. I try to build a grow ourselves culture. So it's a paradox that I present. I need a lot of help, but don't help me unless it's true for you. What kind of help do you need? And people are like, oh, I'm spun around. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. Okay, well, we're going to do a really interesting thing now. Thank you for all the pain points. We're going to go visit the first ever, drum roll. Wish we had audio effects. I could actually make that. The first ever BridgeMakers booth. in VR chat.
Booth.
Booth.
A booth.
The booth. We're gonna go fill our bridges up. Has anybody seen this this booth yet?
No, I haven't. I'm
This is
excited.
Project Community.
This
Yeah.
is Project Community. Yeah. You seen it?
Wait, what?
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw it earlier
Really?
today.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Now my right controller. My headset is freaking broken. My right controller is having significant issues just pointing on the correct things. Come on, controller. Are they both dying? What is happening? Come on. Zoom. Wow. Okay. It's getting a little better. New instance. Nope, not that one. Oh, why? What is happening? Can anybody find the Project Community world and drop a portal to a Friends Plus? Ugh. I don't even know.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't know how to do that. I'm sorry.
What'd you say, Vinny?
Project Fest 2025, new
I don't-
instance, Friends Plus.
Yes.
Oh, you're finding it?
Right there.
Yes, you got it.
Okay.
Now both my controllers are dead. Okay, well, you go in there and I will join you.
Oh, we
but
can invite
when
you.
I can. Yeah, sounds good.
You can't move, can you?
I
'Cause your
cannot
controllers are
move.
dead?
That's right. You got it.
Oh no.
But I am seeing your fingers move.
Yeah, it's body tracking, but it doesn't allow me to do very many interesting things. You guys go ahead and you can send me an invite and I will try to accept that.
Okay.
Ugh,
Okay.
freaking controllers. Come on. Come on. What is happening? Ah. Is it working now? What? It's kind of working. It's working a little bit. Both of these are sucking massively. Oh. Okay. We're going to have to stop the streaming for now because this is ridiculous. I'm going to try to get my controllers to work.